We'll just take a little ride around Delmarva. It won't be long before you come across one of the many mill ponds that dot our landscape.
Decades ago, these ponds served a grand purpose for the lumber and agriculture industries on Delmarva, but nowadays, not so much. Thing is, the ponds still require maintenance. So what should be done about them? Well, joining us today to tell us more is WBOC's Brittany Cooper. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, what is a mill pond?
A mill pond, they were originally built, so the towns kind of built around them back in the 1800s or so. They were used to harness the water to create power, to be able to use iron or sawmills or for agriculture purposes. So they were using the mills and the water to be able to process these items. And so that way they were able to use them for building, buildings or just really anything agriculture-wise, grain. Yes, exactly.
So some people may not realize that there's a favorite recreational spot in Sussex County that started out as a mill pond.
Yes, believe it or not, Trap Pond State Park in Laurel actually once was a mill pond. They used to use it for all those purposes that I said. And so now they actually were able to save it and create it as a recreational spot. So fishing, boating, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have homes that have been built around these ponds, but I understand now they're having problems with environmental wear and tear.
Yes, these dams were all man-made, so they're not naturally occurring ponds. So if they're not maintained, then the water could dry up, disappear. Sometimes they cause trouble, like in Bishopville. There's some muck that built up at one of the mill ponds over there, and it was causing fish kills. The eels actually were crawling up the wall. They couldn't get over the dam. So that was one of the main problems there. People in the area.
And that's what we're looking at
there?
Yes,
right there. That's the aerial view. You can see that green muck that had built up there in Bishopville.
How about that? And you talked to somebody about all this?
Yes, I talked to a couple people. William Koth of Trap Pond State Park, he was just talking about what these purposes of these ponds were.
Let's hear what he has to say.
So back in the early 1800s, there were a lot of them in Sussex County. It was estimated in the 1800s there were up to 20 different mill ponds on that little stretch. Today there's only probably 4 or 5 mill ponds in that area, and they're mostly used for recreation purposes rather than those industrial purposes.
And people like them, I imagine, because they build up their property value.
Yes, absolutely. So if you want a waterfront home, naturally these ponds wouldn't be there, but they're man-made, so they want to keep them there so they have this nice waterfront home. Otherwise, it would just be a dry spot where a pond used to be.
Okay, so things are kind of coming down to a point of environmental impact then, right?
Yes, but I won't get too deep into that because you'll just want to tune in tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, Brittany, we're looking forward to seeing your story, Mill Ponds on Delmarva, tonight on WBOC News at 11. Now, that's not the only story you don't want to miss, Brittany. You recently did an in-depth article on death of downtowns. Tell us about it.
Yes, and it was such an interesting story to do. I got to sit down with people who grew up on the downtowns of Western Sussex County, Delmar, Seaford, Bridgeville, Laurel, and just get, what they remembered the downtown back in its heyday when it was really booming, and then what they see today, and as far as the deterioration as, the railroad came along or as it kind of fell off, and as Route 13 came along and most of the businesses kind of moved out there. So I got a chance to sit down and talk to them and then also see kind of what the towns are trying to do to revive these downtowns nowadays.
As far as the future of
yes,
the downtowns.
As far as the future of the downtowns. So there's a lot about the downtown revitalization that they're trying to do in these downtowns and the state of Delaware, helping with that as well.
It's a great article. I read it, Brittany, and I encourage you to read it. Death of Downtown. You can find it on WBOC.com under News tab. Just click In-Depth Stories.
Now, Brittany is not going anywhere just yet because a little later on she's going to give us a lesson in Zumba. Lisa and I see if we have what it takes to keep up, plus we get to know a little bit more about Brittany Cooper.
But first, how much do you really know about the home improvement items on your honey-do list? After the break, we learn about a home improvement project experts say to leave to the experts. We're talking drywall.
And what dangers lie within your drywall? Could your walls be harming your family without you even knowing it? We're going to find out some warning signs next.
Another household chore this time of year is shoveling snow. But exactly what is that chore doing to your health? Up next, we learn how to shovel the right way.
But first, you know that Delmarva Life's all about community, and that includes your community.
Is there something going on in your neighborhood? We'd love to hear about it and see your photos from the event. Send the information our way along with any pictures you'd like to share.
Why, yes, you can reach us at comments@delmarvalife.com or like us on Facebook and just share the information there. Delmarva Life. We'll be right back.